The Regulation G rule set just got announced, and I kind of just wanted to go over some of the important Pokemon that I think we should all be like preparing for. Just in case you guys haven't seen it, here on Cerebi.net, we got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's Ranked Battle Regulation G has been finally officially announced. This regulation rule set will run from May 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2024, and adds the ability to use up to one restricted Pokemon per team. So that means that we have access to some of the strongest Pokemon in the game. Something that I wanted to go over, I jumped on Showdown obviously, and I think the most obvious team that we all had to prepare for is this gouging Groudon team that I'm sure is going to be seeing a lot of play, and I'm going to play it. We got the Groudon here. I just kind of went for the Jolly max speed set because base 90 is not that good, so we need some sort of speed control in order for this to go. But I think Clear Amulet on the Groudon is pretty good here. You don't want to be dropping to a bunch of Intimidates from Incineroar coming back in and out. So I got Swords Dance, Heat Crash, Precipice Blades, all getting boosted by a potential Gouging Fire with a Photosynthesis activating from the Groudon, right? This energy seems to be really, really good and something that we're all going to have to watch out for. And this is very similar to the normal Booster Energy Gouging Fire set that we've been seeing, but I think we can afford to run Leftovers on Gouging Fire. With the pretty consistent drought going on, I think we're going to be able to see a Gouging Fire really be in the sun a lot longer than we're used to. We also get a chance to pivot, with the Rillaboom going in and out and helping us counteract a lot of the other terrains that are going to be going on, right? You got the Psychic terrain that's going to be on all the Trick Room teams. You got the Electric terrain now that Miraidon's out, and you got like all these other Pokemon that just don't want to see Rillaboom, right? It's really good against the Kyogre. The Kyogre really doesn't want to see the Rillaboom, Ogerpon, Raging Bolt. Like, just running these three along with the Groudon in order to counteract the rain, it seems like it's really going to put Kyogre in its place, doesn't it? I'm excited for this. Personally, I like Volt Switch on Raging Bolt, but you could obviously just put Thunderbolt here and it would do just as fine. I still think the Assault Vest set is correct. And I don't know if you could also run the Electro Web set. I think Electro Web would be fine here too, but you'd have to change some of these EVs to be a lot faster because Raging Bolt is just not that fast. But the Photosynthesis would give us a giant boost to his special attack, which is already really high, and put us into a really good spot. Like a Terra Electric Thunderclap from a Raging Bolt in the sun, just there's not a lot of things that really want to take that, We also have the Flutter Mane. I think now that you have Groudon in the metagame and opposing Groudon too, like in the mirror, you don't want to like really, you don't like, the mirror is going to be so ridiculous because you'll never have a different weather up, right? You'll always have the sun up. So pretty consistently, you're going to have Gouging Fire, Raging Bolt, and Flutter Mane all activating their Photosynthesis and getting a really strong and consistent team. I don't think, so something to keep in mind, is this base 135 speed what used to be like really fast and something you could afford to not EV all the way in because you'd be speeding so many things after like a booster energy? This speed tier suddenly just got really crowded. Like, it's something that you're gonna have to, I really think Flutter Manes are just gonna end up being a 252 set because you can't afford to be losing these speed ties by going down here, right? Other Flutter Manes are going to run their Photosynthesis, like other Photosynthesis mons are going to be right there with you, man. So I think we're going to start seeing this speed tier just get really saturated. So that's kind of why I put the Focus Sash on here and why I think Calm Mind might be the better set here. A Calm Mind in the sun with a Photosynthesis boost with a Terra Fairy is kind of a budget Xerneas in this current format, and I think this is kind of where we want to be. The Icy Wind is good into the Groudon also, which I think is going to help in the mirror match. It's good into the Gouging Fire, it's good into the Rillaboom. Like, I think Ice is just suddenly going to be really strong in this Regulation G format. So I think something like this would be really good in with these 6 right here. So I think this is the team that you should be watching out for, and this is the team you should definitely know how to beat. Next, I wanted to talk about a few things that are a little bit less fleshed out. Somebody mentioned something about a Ursaluna Dialga Origin form team. See, so Dialga Origin form actually has telepathy, so you could very safely Earthquake next to it, and get off a really strong core here, because Dialga Origin's actually really hard to take down. Base 100, 120, 120, and then the 150 special attack. Like it's pretty strong. It is base 90 speed, so it's slower than all the other box art legendaries. And so it could see a place here in this kind of set. I'm kind of interested to try this, and I don't know how good it'll be, but I think it might be interesting. It's got good stats, a good typing into this current metagame, right? With like no Flutterman wants to take a flash cannon from base 150, you know? Incineroar in here for Intimidate. Amoonguss is probably going to fall off a bunch, but I do think it would be good in any sort of Trick Room team. I think it's going to be necessary in any sort of Trick Room team, because that Spore is it's so hard to get rid of, you know what I mean? Like it's so invaluable to so many Trick Room type of teams. It does get a little weaker because of Miraidon bringing the electric terrain. Like it does get a little weaker for sure. Amoonguss definitely got a little nerfed going into this regulation G format, but I mean, it's still an Amoonguss, you know? So I do think that Gallade might still actually have a place in the new metagame. It being a wide guard user and Trick Room, like it stops the water spouts, it stops the precipice blades, it stops the Astro Barrage. Like it hits a lot. Like wide guard's about to be really relevant in the regulation G format, because all of the best box art legendaries, all the best restricted Pokemon have some sort of spread move. So I think early on we're gonna see Gallade just be still really relevant. It hits a lot of things with really hard with that Sacred Sword boosted by the sharpness. So I think we're still gonna see this thing make some moves here. And Oaken Wellspring, it really is only here for the Kyogre, because the Water Absorb is just gonna be so instrumental in stopping Kyogre from just water spouting and Origin pulsing into us. Speaking of Kyogre, I do want to talk about it a little bit here. It definitely got nerfed, right? Like Kyogre is not going to be as good as Groudon in this metagame, specifically because Groudon enables a lot of the photosynthesis Pokemon to go off. So, but it's still a Kyogre, right? It's still like one of the best restricted Pokemon that there ever has been, and so we can't completely like ignore it, right? We have Water Spout on here. We have Origin Pulse to hit once Water Spout, once we've taken some damage, or Origin Pulse with the Mystic Water in the rain. It's still gonna do so much damage. Protect is obviously really good here, and Ice Beam just to hit the other Groudons. There's still a lot of grass types and flying types in the metagame that I think we're gonna have to deal with. We're gonna hit Tornadus, right? We're gonna hit Tornadus with Ice Beam. We're gonna hit Groudon with Ice Beam. We're gonna hit Rillaboom with Ice Beam. I think that's something that Regulation F didn't have, was like a really strong Ice Beam user, other than the occasional what is the thing's name, Iron Bundle, which like really just hit you with a freeze dry. It wasn't even Ice Beam, you know. And I guess Porygon 2 was also running the Ice Beam, so something to keep in mind, that I think Ice Beam is gonna be really important on the Kyogre. I do think Terra Grass is probably the best Terra on it. It'll help against the Amoonguss spores. It'll help against it'll resist the Groudon Precipice Blades and be able to hit back with the Ice Beam. I think it puts it in a good spot. There's probably a more optimal spread than just 252, 252, but when you're trying to run it in something like Tailwind, which is why I've paired it with a Tornadus, I do think these two guys are best buds. I do think these guys are best buds in that you can help set up the Rain Dance again to make sure that it always is on whenever the Groudon comes back in, right? You can taunt to try to stop other Tornadus from going off, or you could stop, Amoongus's from sporing you or anything else. I do think taunt's going to be really important, something to keep in mind. And also the Bleakwind Storm is going to be 100% accurate every time the Kyogre's out. So imagine a world where you protect Tailwind, and then next turn you Water Spout Bleakwind Storm, right? Like not a whole lot of things are going to want to go into that. A tale as old as time, like since Gen 5, like this has definitely been a very good strategy. So I do think that we do still have to watch out for this. We have to respect it, because in the hands of a good player, like this is gonna be really strong. Something I did want to mention though is Golden Go is obviously really good paired up with Tornadus. Like you can still run the Nasty Claw set here. The Nasty Shadow Ball, Make It Rain, Protect, right? You could still run this set either with a Metal Coat, or not Metal Alloy, Metal Coat, or with Life Orb even, right? You could still run this Golden Go set into a lot of this metagame, right? It still hits a lot of things, especially like Alaric Shadow does not want to take a Shadow Ball from a +2 Golden Go, and it's going to be something that I think you have to watch out for, right? It's good into a lot of the other Pokemon here too. Our Chaladon is a new Pokemon that I think we have to watch out for here. It's kind of like a baby Dialga, right? You can still run the Assault Vest set on it with stamina, right? Something like this, and then something to resist the Groudon, because that's going to be your biggest threat here. You could even run Terra Flying. Like Terra Flying or Chaladon might be okay. Probably puts you in a bad spot with Raging Bolt. But Terra Grass or Chaladon might actually be pretty good here. That would help against the Groudons really well. And you can obviously go for the Electro Shot, right? Electro Body Press, Draco Meteor, and whatever you want as the fourth move. What's its fourth move usually? Flash Cannon maybe? Meteor Beam? I didn't know it got Meteor Beam. I don't know if that's gonna be relevant, but you know, that's there. That's there if you want it. You know, you could still run this set and be just fine. Like you would be just fine in any sort of rain team. I do think this is something that we have to respect, and we can't just like ignore the fact that like, oh, Kyogre's not that good anymore. I don't think that Kyogre's not good anymore. It's just knocked down just slightly, in that the Pokemon that are supporting it just aren't quite as buffed as something like the Groudon team, right? Like the Groudon team is gonna be hard, man. That's good. I'm excited to play this. Like personally, I'm really looking forward to it. I've been waiting for the chance to actually play the Gouging Groudon, so I'm looking forward to playing that. Another thing I wanted to talk about was electric terrain, right? So Miraidon is kind of just a better Raging Bolt. It doesn't have the Thunderclap. Obviously, Raging Bolt has the Thunderclap while the Miraidon doesn't. But it does bring in the Hadron engine, which brings in the electric terrain. So we finally get to actually, you know, use the Quark Drive Pokemon. Like what else gets Quark Drive? What else gets Quark Drive? Right? Iron Treads. Iron Treads is another option that could be good. What else? Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle could be really good hitting the Groudons for really good damage, right? That base 124 is isn't nothing, right? That's still good ice coverage on here to hit the Groudons. Iron Leaves could maybe see some play now. It does also hit the Groudon, right? The bundle actually might be really good here. But something like this, I think would be really good with the Miraidon, right? You don't really want to double up with another Raging Bolt, even though I know it's tempting. But you don't really want to do it. The Iron Crown though, I think is in a good spot. So something that somebody else had mentioned, I think it might have been the guy who was on Tub Takes, was that you kind of, you know, with Quark Drive, you're good into the electric terrain, but it's been known as the expanding force Pokemon in all of Regulation F. So like you're kind of good with both terrains, right? Into the Indeedee psychic terrain stuff, like the expanding force is still there, and they don't really want to take they really don't want to like start, they don't want to take over your electric terrain with their psychic terrain, because you're still just going to hit them with expanding force, right? I'm excited for something like this, and I don't know what Terra type they would run. Probably water is probably still fine. I don't know if there's anything else that's as relevant as this is, but the expanding force Tachyon Cutter Calm Mindset might be legit now that you don't have to run booster energy quite as like mandatory, right? You could totally run the Life Orb set and just start really dealing some damage. Or maybe even if you built it kind of bulky, you could probably run a leftover set, so you don't, since you're not running the booster anymore and relying more so on the electric terrain. Iron Hands is another Pokemon that gets really good with Quark Drive, right? If you suddenly go, you know, 252 Adamant, like this set is still really good here, man. Like the fake out, Heavy Slam, Close Combat, or Drain Punch, and Wild Charge. Like, dude, with the Quark Drive boost, like this is gonna be insane. I'm looking forward to seeing this. I know some people have been trying it with the Thundurus and stuff, but this is the way you do it, right? Now, electric is a pretty good, excuse me, is a pretty good, electric is a pretty good coverage type, right? But I think you kind of want the iron bundle. You could really run the focus sash on this now too, and really pressure some of the stuff, right? You could run icy wind, you could run ice beam or freeze dry or hydro pump. Like, you can still run a set like this, right? Running like 252, 252, and really just punish a lot of the Groudons, right? Like, Groudon after an icy wind like isn't quite as fast. Like, Groudon's biggest thing here is that its speed stat isn't great. So you kind of want to run something with, so like here I'm running only the booster icy wind, right? Or not booster, but the Flutter Mane icy wind and the Electro Web on the Raging Bull. Like, these two are probably good options for speed control for Groudon. But unless unless you're running Tailwind or something, like, it's not that good. So I think the biggest way to beat the Groudon team that I think we're all gonna have to run is just like better speed control, right? Because unless they could run Tornadus in here, I guess, right? Tornadus instead of Flutter Mane or something, and really, like, I think that's just gonna be the way we're gonna have to beat it. But I think Iron Bundle with the Miraidon, like, I think that's actually pretty good coverage, right? You get the Bolt Beam. The Bolt Beam's really good here with the Psychic and Fighting. Like, I think this team might be the one to beat when it comes to electric terrain. Like, I'm really looking forward to seeing this. Something really scary is the Calyrex Shadow team. So Calyrex Shadow gets Expanding Force and Astral Barrage and Trick Room. Wait, you don't even want Trick Room here. You want, like, what do you want here? What do you want with the, you get Haze? That's kind of cool. Because like Calyrex Shadow is base 150 speed. So like I was talking about with like the Flutter Mane being so fast, like you're needing it to be 135, right? The 135 is Flutter Mane, it's Flutter Mane, it's Chien-Pao, right? The only thing that beats it right now, like in speed tier, is like a Regieleki and Calyrex Shadow. So something like this, right? I mean, you need more than 252, like this base 180, 100 is still gonna, like, it's not the easiest thing to beat down, you know? So Expanding Force plus Astral Barrage right next to an Indeedee, setting up the Psychic Surge, setting up the Psychic Terrain with the Follow Me. Like, how are you gonna beat this? Tell me how you're gonna beat this, because I'm currently struggling, right? I had Iron Hands on here as just like an option, but because I think like fighting Ghost is really good coverage, right? But yeah, I think the ND, right, helping hand Astral Barrage, like, what are you gonna do, man? What's the game plan here, dude? How do you beat Calyrex Shadow? Like, really, how do you beat that, like, turn one? What do you do? Do you just go Chi-Yu, like a Choice Scarf Chi-Yu or something like that? Like, I don't, right now I'm currently drawing a blank, man. So really looking forward to seeing, and you can Terra normal, right? You can Terra your way out of this like really bad dark weakness. So what do you do? Like, I think Terra normal is probably what Calyrex Shadow is going to want to do, and I'm looking forward to seeing how people get creative with this, because I don't really know. I mean, I guess you could run the Iron Crown here, right? And now you got like crazy expanding force, right? You could do, oh man, like this team seems hard to beat. So if you guys think of something, like, please let me know, because currently I'm drawing. Next thing is like that I wanted to talk about was this right here, right? So Snow has been kind of interesting with the Articuno, right? The Articuno has been, you know, going around hitting these choice specs Snow Cloak Blizzards, right? But something that I think I was kind of thinking about was Kyurem White's base 170 special attack. Like, base 170 special attack with the Choice Scarf Turbo Blaze, like Terra Fire Choice Scarf, Kyurem White is, man, that's nothing to scoff at, man. It also gets Freeze Dry. So I was thinking a set like Blizzard, Freeze Dry. What is that fire move called? Not Turbo Blaze, that's the ability. Fusion Flare and something like and Draco Meteor. Like, with the choice scarf, how fast this thing gets to 161. 161 times, what is that? How fast does that get? 161 times 1.5. So that's 241. That outspeeds the Fluttermane. That outspeeds that outspeeds all the that outspeeds the 135s, you know, that aren't in the photosynthesis boost. So a little bit of speed control here, and then with behind an Aurora Veil, like this thing's gonna be hard to beat in snow. So if you can win the weather war and set up an Aurora Veil and really get this thing going, I think we could have something pretty solid here. This is something that I kind of want to explore, and something that if you guys have any interest in like getting creative, I think Pure and White in snow might actually be pretty cool. So something to look out for. But lastly, I wanted to talk about Zacian Crown. Zacian did get the Zacian Crown did get the nerf, the minus 20 base attack, right? And also Intrepid Sword only activates once per battle now. So it's not quite what it used to be, but you still have like the best natural typing in the game, right? Fairy Steel is still really good. I'm thinking something like Terra Fire to protect it against its other fire types, or maybe even like Terra Flying might be okay. You know, Terra something that resists the Groudon. So Terra Flying would actually be really good, right? Yeah, I think Terra Flying might be kind of what you want to do. Protect, Play Rough, Behemoth Blade, Swords Dance. Like, it just ends up being a really good Pokemon. And you can still just, you know, run it out. It's base 148 speed. Like, you're going to outspeed all the Fluttermanes, so you kill them with Behemoth Blade. Like, unless they're in the sun, you're gonna win this trade every time. You could run a different weather on here on Tornadus to counteract the, like, you could do it simply, like, just to beat the Groudon teams. You could just run Rain Dance or Urshifu Rapid Strike and just get there. Zacian Crown is probably going to be the best like balance mode that I think we're going to see, right? Instant with Intimidate, Rillaboom with the Grassy Surge, Urshifu Rapid Strike with just, you know, the normal Surging Strikes, U-Turn, Close Combat, Aqua Jet probably, Tornadus with the Rain Dance just in case, right? And then you got Zacian Crown in the rain for any sort of fire moves that could be coming its way, right? So then you're covering its flying or its steel weakness with the rain. Having, like, could you imagine like Zacian plus Urshifu Rapid Strike plus Tornadus, and then just like either Rillaboom or Incineroar depending on the matchup, right? Or you can run the balance mode, like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then just running this team. Like, just this is probably going to be what balance ends up being, because now you just have the Fairy Steel to just cover so much of your weakness to like the ground, or not the ground, but the dragon types, right? Like, balance always struggles with the like the Raging Bolts, the Miraidons now, the Koraidons now. Like, they're going to be hard to beat. But when you got Zacian Crowned on you with the Intrepid Sword, like under Tailwind, like this is gonna be kind of a hard team to beat. So this might actually be something that I might try out too. Since you're running the balance mode and the Incineroar Rillaboom, you can totally run like the Swords Dance, Grassy Glide, right? Like the Wolfy stuff, right? Spiky Shield, Ivy Cudgel, and just do like really good damage. You're always gonna get the +1, right? The Mold Breaker is gonna be really important. Like, this could very easily just be the balance team right here. So if you end up not running, what was the other balance team where you run the Groudon, right? Like, the Zacian's gonna be the other mode. So something to watch out for, like, right? So those are just some of the teams that I thought might be interesting to go over now that the Regulation G's rule set is actually like out here, and we can actually talk about it. So I'm really looking forward to Showdown putting the Regulation G rule set on Showdown so we can start testing. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any other ideas, like, please, like, if you guys want to expand on this Kyurem White Ninetales combo, let me know, because I think this could be some heat. Like, honestly, I think this could be awesome. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I just thought I'd want to, you know, put my own 2 cents out there, and I'll see you guys next time.